In this series of videos, I will show how you can use folder poll to automatically perform data analysis with MyAssays Desktop when measurements are completed with the Kaleido software. In this first video, I will show how you can configure a Kaleido measurement protocol to export the data ready for MyAssays Desktop Pro, and show how to create a MyAssays Desktop protocol that can import this data automatically each time those measurements are performed using folder poll. In this way, you can create a seamless workflow between measurements and data analysis results. First, let's get started with the Kaleido software. So I'm going to modify one of the existing protocols to export in the format that MyAssays Desktop can work with. So let's go to the Setup Protocol tab. I'm going to select Absorbance 405 protocol, press OK, and then we can press Edit to change the settings. And under the post-processing sequence, we can select the export method. Now we need to change the export format from CSV to XML. MyAssays Desktop can automatically recognize Kaleido XML data files. Now under the export path, we can specify the location of the Kaleido export. So I'm just going to accept the default. We could change this if necessary, but I'm going to also open this folder in Explorer, and we'll come back to that later. So I'm going to press Save to save these changes, and I'm just going to modify the protocol name to 384, just so we can distinguish this protocol later on. So let's press OK, and let's switch back to Run Protocol and press Start to take measurements with this protocol. So I'm running Kaleido in simulation mode. I'll just get some random data here. Now if we go to the folder that I opened earlier, we can see that the XML file has been created in this folder as specified. So now we've got some measurement data, we can build a MyAssays Desktop protocol. So let's launch MyAssays Desktop. And from here we can press New Protocol to create a new protocol. So on the first step, we can specify that we have some data in a file that we want to import. So press Next, and then we can select the file that we want to import. I'm just going to go to the Kaleido export folder and select this XML file that's just been created. So let's press Next. So MyAssays Desktop automatically recognizes the file format and imports the data. We can see the data that's been imported here. If we look at the metadata tab, we can see the metadata that's also been imported alongside the measurement data. This just contains further information about the measurements that have been performed. So let's press Next. On this next step, we can specify the sample types that are used in this assay. So to keep things simple, in this case, I'm just going to use unknown sample types and press Next. And here, I'm just going to select this default layout. Let's just open this to take a look. Here we can see it's a 384 well plate. Our samples arranged in triplicate. So this is just a simple example so that we can focus on the integration with Kaleido and MyAssays Desktop. Of course, if you're building more complicated data analysis, then you'd want to use a different layouts. And I cover working with different layouts and other types of analysis in various other videos. So let's press Next to accept this layout. Now on this step, we can select the option to automatically launch this protocol when a new measurement file is detected. So let's select this option, and on the next step we can specify exactly what we want the system to do when further measurement files are exported to this export folder. So we can say that we would like to launch the protocol and import the data ready for review, or there's some other options available. So let's select this option to launch the protocol, import the data, perform analysis, and create and open an Excel document and then exit. With this setting, when a new measurement file is detected in this export folder, these operations will be performed. Now in addition, we could specify a file filter so that only new files that satisfy this file filter are handled by this particular protocol. So for example, if we wanted to limit this protocol to just work with files that start with a 384 in their file name, we could use a file filter like this. So this is a useful way to be able to set up different configurations based on file names. So let's press Next. Here we can just confirm a name for the protocol that we're creating. I'm just going to delete this extra data from the end, and we could enter a description if we wanted to here. But let's press Next to accept this option, and here we see a summary of the new protocol that this wizard is going to create for us. Also, we can see the folder poll integration steps that are going to be set up for us. So let's press Finish to apply these changes and to create the new protocol. So when we're working with folder poll, we need to give permission to make these changes to the system. So you'll see this user account control message box, and press yes to apply these changes. Now this is because folder poll runs as a Windows service. It's always running in the background. So you don't need to launch every time you start your computer. It's automatically set up and started each time your computer is used. So now the wizard has created the protocol and opened it, imported the data and calculated the first set of results using this basic configuration with the layout of our samples in triplicate. So to make this a little more interesting, I'm going to add some basic analysis. So let's go to the Home tab and press Properties, and let's expand this. I'm going to add a percentage CV transform. So this is just going to calculate the percentage CV of each of our sample groups. Let's press Create, and here we can see that the percentage CV transform has been added and applied to our raw data. I'm also going to go to the Matrices tab and select the percentage CV and enable to display value bars. This means when the data is exported to Excel, the percentage CV column will include graphical value bars. This is a nice feature to provide visual feedback for numerical values. Also, let's go to the Report tab, and here we can see that the report will contain the sample table, but also let's add measurement metadata. So this will include a table of the metadata. This is the additional information related to the measurement, such as the file name, the date, operator name. This is often useful to include this in your report. I'm going to arrange these report elements in separate sheets. So let's add the metadata to a sheet named metadata, and let's add the main sample table just to a sheet named results. We do that just simply entering the sheet name that we require. So let's calculate these results with these changes. So let's close this properties panel, and here we can see we have the results with the percentage CV calculated for each of our samples, and also we can see the metadata tab, which includes the metadata that is associated with these measurements. So now we've made some changes. We can press Save to apply these changes to the protocol. So with this configuration in place, the next time that we run these measurements with Kaleido, this protocol will be automatically launched to create and open an Excel document as we've configured here. So let's try that now. So we can close all of the MyAssays Desktop windows and switch back to the Kaleido software. Let's run the protocol again. So we press Start. Once again, we'll get some measurement data. After measurements are completed, the Kaleido software will export the XML file. Folder poll will detect that new file and launch the protocol that we've just created. It'll import the data and perform the analysis and export the data to our Excel document. Now in this case, we configured the system to close MyAssays window when it was completed and open the Excel. So here we can see the Excel application open, and we can see that our raw data has been imported along with the percentage C values being computed with these value bars to indicate magnitude of each of our calculated percentage CV values. Also, we can see the metadata tab includes further details about the data that was imported, including the original export file, the protocol owner, and barcode information, etc. Using the steps I've demonstrated here, you can configure your system to perform MyAssays Desktop data analysis automatically. With this particular configuration, the operator does not need to use or interact with MyAssays Desktop at all. They can simply start the measurements through the Kaleido software and then get an Excel document containing their results automatically. In the next video in this series, I will show how you can apply a folder poll configuration with an existing MyAssays Desktop protocol. That process is useful if you already have a protocol that you want to integrate, or perhaps you've downloaded a protocol from myassays.com that you would like to integrate into your Kaleido workflow.